Hi, my name is Nicole Miller, and this is my video presentation for my substance abuse course. And today my topic is going to be adult children of alcoholics. So the first thing I want to do is give you guys some statistics about this population. And according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, 11% of American children live with a parent dependent on alcohol or other substances. And what this means going forward is that 25 to 30% of college students are considered adult children of alcoholics. And children of alcoholics are prone to relational difficulties. They experience higher rates of emotional and psychiatric disorders, along with higher rates of substance abuse. Adult children of alcoholics also experience a lifetime of depression. So moving forwards, I'm going to talk about some attachment styles with this population. In a study conducted by Brennan, Shaver, and Toby, they indicated that college students with alcoholic parents scored higher on avoidant and anxious ambivalent attachment styles. Alcoholic parents often respond to their children with a lack of empathy, allow their children to function in parental roles, and often make threats of abandonment to their children. And these children often have, going into adulthood, often have a plethora of interpersonal problems. In a study conducted in 1993 by El Guabali et al., they found that women raised by alcoholic parents scored highest on angry withdrawal and separation anxiety protest. These women indicated decreased support from attachment figures and viewed their attachment figure as unavailable. Clearly, this data indicates that these women suffered from an anxious resistant attachment style. So now I'm going to move on and discuss negative and depressed mood. About 37% of adult children of alcoholics have a lifetime diagnosis of depression. And alcohol-abusing parents often cannot provide enough emotional or physical support to their children. And studies indicate that any disruption, whether temporary or permanent, in the parent-child relationship can lead to increased rates of depression in the future. Children raised in environments where parents are warm and emotionally available are better able to cope with negative life events, whereas children raised in environments that are less warm and less emotionally supportive are less able to cope, which will subsequently lead to depression later in life. And when we look at this population, these children of alcoholics generally are raised in environments where there's less warmth and less parental emotional or physical support. So it should really come as no surprise to us that these children may be at greater risk for depression in the future. Also, with negative mood and depressed mood, maternal alcohol abuse appears to have a greater effect on parent-child relationships, especially when considering female relationships. And this is because mothers typically tend to have a greater responsibility in their child's care. They're generally around their child more than the father figure is. And alcohol abuse decreases the mother's ability to fulfill her parental roles, which negatively will affect her child's peer and parent-child relationships. So now I'm going to talk about alcohol and drug use among college adult children of alcoholics. So in a study conducted by the Core Institute in 2005, they defined episodic drinking as consuming 5 or more drinks in one occasion, and this is found to be an indicator of problem drinking. Now, this problem drinking or heavy drinking usually decreases in one's 20s or during the college years. However, it's been suggested that earlier age of onset of drinking is found to lead to a continuation of problem drinking in the future. And unlike the last slide where I indicated that maternal drinking led to increased rates of depression in these population, paternal drinking often leads to a greater risk of substance abuse among teenagers. And adult children of alcoholics reported greater alcohol use than their non-adult children of alcoholic counterparts beginning in their high school years. Braitman et al. In 2009 found that adult children of alcoholics did not differ in the frequency of extent of drinking in compared to non-adult children of alcoholics. However, adult children of alcoholics did begin drinking at least 1 year earlier than their non-adult children of alcoholic peers. Adult children of alcoholics and non-adult children of alcoholics did not differ in age of onset of drug use. However, 24% of adult children of alcoholics use drugs, whereas only 16% of non-adult children of alcoholics use drugs. So this data clearly indicates that adult children of alcoholics are more likely to use drugs. And similar to what I stated earlier, it states that adult children of alcoholics with a mother or both parents who abused alcohol had a greater likelihood of alcohol use than adult children of alcoholic peers who reported only paternal alcohol use or abuse. And like I stated, this is because maternal alcohol use influences the children more because they have a greater amount of time spent with their children. And so modeling is considered to play a role within this process. So now I'm going to move on to some personality issues that have been found with this population. In a study conducted by Baker and Stevenson in 1995, they identified several personality issues among this population. For example, female adult children of alcoholics tend to hold more pessimistic views than do their non-adult children of alcoholic counterparts. Female adult children of alcoholics express decreased self-control as compared to non-adult children of alcoholic females. Both male and female adult children of alcoholics reported increased independence as compared to non-adult children of alcoholics. And female adult children of alcoholics reported decreased levels of emotional and physical health, such as depression, as I've discussed earlier. So now in this presentation, I want to move forward and talk about some treatment modalities. And so this first treatment I'm going to talk about is not necessarily considered a treatment per se. It's more or less considered a self-help group, but has been found to be highly effective in conjunction with individual therapy. So this first topic I'm going to discuss is Al-Anon. And Al-Anon is a 12-step program birthed out of Alcoholics Anonymous that aids family members of alcoholics. And these next few quotes I took directly from the Alcoholics Anonymous website, and I would like to share those with you. First, it states, "In Al-Anon, members do not give direction or advice to other members. Instead, they take and share their personal experiences and stories and invite other members to take what they like and leave the rest. That is, to determine for themselves what lessons they could apply to their own lives. They state that personal contact is an important element in the healing process. Many Al-Anon members have come to understand how their current life situation was affected by their experience growing up in a home where a parent had a drinking problem. It is not unusual to see intergenerational effects of alcoholism, where grandparents, parents, and children are all affected by a family member's drinking or several family members drinking." And like Alcoholics Anonymous, Al-Anon does follow a 12-step program. So I'm going to go ahead and list those 12 steps. 1. We admitted we were powerless over our alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all of these defects of character. 7. Humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8. Made a list of all the persons we had harmed, and became willing to make amends to them all. 9. Made direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10. Continued to take a personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to others and to practice these principles in all our affairs." So now I'm going to talk about an actual treatment modality, and this comes from the research of Delaney, Phillips, and Candler, and they utilized an Adlerian group therapy with this population. And their goal here was to have their group members explore, clarify, understand, and confront basic mistaken beliefs, goals, and behaviors that these individuals held. And what they did was they challenged group members to review their childhood experiences within their family unit and determine any roles they filled in their childhood, such as we talked about earlier of maybe fulfilling a parental role to younger siblings, or simply just having greater responsibility than was age appropriate. And then they were to identify how they may still function in these roles as an adult. And once the adults had identified their faulty logic and patterns, they would have the clients engage in creating new beliefs and new goals, which would ultimately facilitate a lifestyle of change. And while this Adlerian group therapy is not the only therapy that might be effective with this population, I liked it because it really got to the core of these issues of identifying mistaken beliefs that this population may have or behaving out of these beliefs because of their upbringing in an alcoholic home. I think that treatment could be modified based on the clinician and what they're comfortable using, but also on what the client is comfortable with. So you'd want to take these factors into consideration when forming a treatment. So this is the conclusion of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.